Chapter 61. The Search. As night fell, several large trucks loaded with supplies moved under the cover of darkness, leaving the hotel's vicinity and returning fully loaded. The farm's gates swung open as Hiroshi drove his truck inside, parking at the entrance to the first-floor warehouse. Since leading the team to eliminate Wells and his gang, Jimmy had received a generous share of food supplies and felt immensely grateful to Hiroshi. There was no way he could hold back Hiroshi's truck now. With a creak, Hiroshi opened the truck's cargo hold and began unloading the contents. Although the farm had no shortage of food, Hiroshi selectively took spices, snacks, and a small portion of other items. Despite this, the warehouse was still filled to the brim. Looking at the fully stocked warehouse, Hiroshi estimated that he wouldn't need to purchase new spices for at least 2 years. The operation had yielded great rewards, and more importantly, it had resolved a significant threat. He felt a surge of happiness and hummed a tune as he walked upstairs, contemplating what kind of dinner to prepare for himself tonight. Meanwhile, in the LA Villa district, Sally sat in her room, holding a laptop and intently watching the screen. It was a surveillance video from the night Hiroshi had infiltrated her villa. She had obtained the footage from the security team and was scrutinizing it frame by frame, searching for any clue. However, Hiroshi had masked his face that night, and the video quality wasn't high enough to provide clear details. She could only make out the outline of his back. "Damn bastard," Sally muttered, chewing on a Peppa Pig cookie, her voice muffled. "I'll find you and tear you apart." Her words were filled with hatred and a desire for vengeance, but her cute expression and soft tone diminished the ferocity, making it sound almost like a lover's playful complaint. Despite her lack of venom, Sally had been genuinely terrified. She had never experienced such close contact with a man before. It's driving me crazy." She finished watching the footage again without finding any identifying details. One thing was clear. The intruder was incredibly agile and far more physically capable than an average person. When she woke up that night, she found that the 2 burly men brought by Christopher had been injured, and the intruder had escaped, evading the security guards with ease. Over 20 guards failed to catch him. "They're all useless." Sally fumed, her brows furrowed. "I pay so much in property fees every year just to support these incompetents. My house was invaded days ago, and they still haven't found any concrete leads. I can't rely on the security team or the police." After the invasion, Sally immediately reported it to the police. However, due to the shortage of officers in South City, the dispatcher had replied, "We will verify your report within 24 hours. Please keep your phone available, thank you." 2 days had passed without any follow-up from the police, and subsequent calls to the emergency number only resulted in busy signals. The crime rate in South City had skyrocketed, overwhelming the police system. "It seems I can't use conventional methods to find the intruder," Sally thought, shutting down her laptop. She opened a drawer on her vanity table and pulled out a transparent evidence bag containing a single 5-centimeter-long hair. Carefully, she retrieved the hair and placed it in her palm. It was the only clue left by the intruder, found in the lace of her nightgown. If she hadn't been meticulous, she might have missed it. Her only option now was to conduct a DNA comparison to identify the owner of the hair. Although it was a laborious and vast task, she had no other leads. Finding the intruder was her only way to regain peace of mind. After a moment of silence, she put on a jacket and left her room. Christopher was sitting in the living room, watching a nature documentary. Seeing Sally descend the stairs, he stood up and smiled gently. "Miss Sally, are you feeling better? Your massage techniques worked wonders." "I feel no pain today," Sally replied politely, her demeanor shifting to a cold and reserved tone as she stepped out of her private space. "Mr. Christopher, I've chosen a location for your research institute. It's near the farm, in a factory that went bankrupt due to the mutations. It's quiet and secluded, just as you wanted." "Thank you, Miss Sally," Christopher said, bowing slightly with a traditional air. "No need to be so formal." Sally smiled awkwardly, uncomfortable with Christopher's old-fashioned manners. After a pause, she continued, "If the institute is opening soon, you must be very busy, right?" Sensing the underlying implication in her words, Christopher adjusted his glasses and asked with a smile, "Is there something you need help with, Miss Sally?" Sally smiled back and held up the evidence bag. "Actually, I have a rather embarrassing request. Since you're an expert in human biology, could you help me do a DNA comparison with this hair to find someone in South City?" Christopher raised an eyebrow. To search the entire South City would be like finding a needle in a haystack. Not only would it take an enormous amount of time to compare nearly 100,000 samples, but obtaining DNA samples from everyone in the city would be a massive task in itself. I advise against this unless the person is extremely important to you. Even with the resources of Stardust Company, this task would be extraordinarily difficult. "Is this person very important?" Christopher asked habitually. Sally hesitated, disappointed. "Not really. I'm trying to find the intruder from that night. If it's too difficult, forget it." Christopher's eyes suddenly gleamed with sharp excitement. "No, it's not too difficult," he quickly corrected himself. "Miss Sally, I'm willing to help you with this.